Alisson or Raya, Van Dijk or Saliba, Saka or Salah. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Welcome along to just a video idea of a combined Arsenal versus Liverpool 11. Of course, tonight we'll see Arsenal take on Liverpool in the Premier League at Anfield, and I just thought it might be a bit of fun to do a bit of a combined 11. Now, if long-term people may understand that I may not be a massive fan of combined 11s, but as we know, combined 11s are the best football content there is, behind, of course, tier lists and reaction videos. So, without further ado, let's get on with a combined 11 for Liverpool against Arsenal. Before we go into all of that, I would like to remind you to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both ones always have to be greatly appreciated. And of course, if you'd like to get involved in the comment section below, give me your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on Liverpool versus Arsenal tonight. Predictions, of course, and maybe even your own combined 11s. Maybe you agree with mine, maybe you don't. It will all make for great and interesting reading. But for now, let's get on with the video. Starting off from goal, easy choice. The main man, Alisson freaking Becker. The best goalkeeper in the world. Alisson Becker, of course, he's going to be going in goal for my combined Liverpool-Arsenal 11. There is absolutely no debate in my mind. There is absolutely no contest, no competition here. Alisson Becker, best goalkeeper in the world, and therefore, rightly so, my goalkeeper for this to kick off this Liverpool versus Arsenal combined 11. Easy choice. The easiest choice probably in this entire, whatever you would call it, combined 11. At right back, I've got to go Trent Alexander-Arnold. I've got to go Trent Alexander-Arnold. Easy choice in my opinion. Yes, you can maybe look at him defensively and question his defensive attributes, but I think it's a bit of a lazy sort of argument to say why he's not great. He is great. Going forward-wise, there is no question he's the best. His passing, playmaking, creativity, exquisite, incredible, extraordinary at times. Defensively, like I say, you can maybe have an argument for the likes of Ben White, but, you know, it is a lazy argument, and I think defensively what we've seen this season, especially from Trent, is a vast improvement. Is it perfect? No. Is it going to be perfect? Never will be. But Trent, for me, the perfect choice for this Liverpool versus Arsenal combined 11. Very simple choice. For the centre-back pairing, I've got to go with these two. It seems the only easy and prime choice. Right-sided centre-back, I've got to go with William Saliba. Left-sided centre-back, I've got to go with Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk has been back to his best this season. He's been absolutely incredible, especially since that red card he picked up against Newcastle. He had bounced back massively, and I think him taking the captain's armband has only enhanced and increased his level of hunger, his level of determination, and of course his want and desire for football again, and especially the bounce back ability of Van Dijk from obviously the poor season that he displayed last season in comparison to this one is like light and day. He is definitely back to his best, and I am loving every second of seeing Virgil van Dijk be Liverpool captain, as well as being one of the best in the world at what he does. And as for William Saliba, look, there's no doubt Arsenal missed him a lot last season, especially in the run-in towards the end of last campaign, where of course they pretty much threw away the Premier League title. His absence was dearly missed in the heart of the Arsenal defence going forward. And he's continued to prove that he's not just a one-season wonder. He's continued to prove that it goes from strength to strength. He continues to improve. He's not quite at peak Van Dijk levels, and of course he will need silverware to back that up in some capacity, in some form going forward. But if obviously Arsenal continue their trajectory, he continues his improvement, there will be no doubt that he will make it there very, very soon. These two, as a defensive pairing, would be absolutely solid in my opinion, an absolute brick wall, and will complement each other pretty nicely in this combined 11. For the left back, I've got to go with Alexander Zinchenko. Now, I was debating whether to throw Andy Robertson into this, but I think due to the fact that Robertson's injured, I'm going to have to go on players that I somewhat know are fit and ready to play tonight. So, I've got to go with Zinchenko. Zinchenko seems to be the obvious fit. Like I say, I want to go with Andy Robertson, but Zinchenko's there. I think he's better than Kostas Tsimikas. And I think that Zinchenko is a steady Eddie. He's not going to pull up any trees. He's not the most flashiest or fanciest name on the team sheet. But you can get a relatively consistent performance out of him on a regular basis. And he can also produce moments from time to time that helps the team go on and win, whether it be defensively or offensively. So for me, Zinchenko gets the nod over Tsimikas. Like I say, you can maybe argue that Tsimikas' delivery is maybe better than Zinchenko's, but I think overall performance-wise, and particularly defensively as well, Zinchenko outperforms each and every single week. In this 4-3-3 with a defensive midfielder, it obviously has to be the one and only Declan freaking Rice. A lot was made of the defensive midfielder's move from West Ham to Arsenal, particularly when looking at the extremely high price tag that was placed on his shoulders. But it's safe to say that this man has lived up to every single penny so far of that incredibly lucrative price tag that was placed on his shoulders by West Ham and subsequently was brought by Arsenal across from the London club to the other London club. Declan Rice has been phenomenal this season, continuing his progression, continuing his improvement, and has so far come up clutch on multiple occasions for Arsenal. Not just in terms of being an absolute defensive unit, not just in terms of covering a lot of ground and being an absolute workhorse in that midfield, breaking up play, moving the ball quickly forward, but also in terms of big clutch moments. This is the man who scored the second goal in the 3-1 victory against Manchester United deep into injury time to obviously help Arsenal to win that game. This is the man who popped up in the 97th minute to find a winner against Luton Town, and time again this guy continues to prove his worth. Best defensive midfielder on form in the Premier League in my opinion. Best defensive midfielder between Arsenal and Liverpool, definitely right here, right now. Declan Rice for me is a shoo-in. Now for the midfield, I could have gone with a fair few combinations and some very intriguing and exciting ones at that. Obviously with Alexis McAllister being injured and Ryan Gravenberch also being slightly injured, bit of a doubt for this game. Those could have been interesting to obviously to see as well from the Liverpool side of things. As for Arsenal, I know that Kai Havertz has been performing pretty well in recent weeks and is seemingly slowly turning around the kind of emotions and thoughts of some of the Arsenal faithful who question why they bought him for so much money, and also some neutral and rival fans as well, including myself of course, but we'll see if that continues or not. But instead, I've decided to go with Dominic Szoboszlai and Martin Odegaard. Now, again, I could have gone with a fair few interesting combinations on either side, and I think there is a worthy case for the majority of players from both of these sides. But I think these two have been particularly great this season. Martin Odegaard, we know about him. I don't think he's quite hit the level of the heights and performances that he hit last season. But I think we're seeing a bit more of a controlled Arsenal for this campaign going forward. And it wouldn't shock me at all if there is a lot more to come from Odegaard going forward. And there is a lot more to see from him, especially as obviously the pressure mounts up, the intensity cranks up a few notches, and depending on what Arsenal's season is going to be about going forward, we shall see Odegaard in a much more clutch and much more higher intensity and bigger capacity going forward. As for Szoboszlai, I think he's had a great start to his Liverpool career, a really promising one at that. I think his work rate, his energy, and the way that Liverpool fans have taken to him, or he's taken to the club, and therefore the fans have taken to him, has been a really big indication of how big and how far the Hungarian international can go. I think he's been playing at such a high intensity though since obviously joining Liverpool, and of course on an international level as well with Hungary in getting them to qualify for the Euros next year, that I think that's why we've seen his performance level somewhat drop a little bit in recent weeks. I still think there is time for him to put it back, of course. I think that maybe he does need a bit of a rest across the festive period, but he has been incredible to watch. He's scored some absolute bangers so far this season, and this guy never stops running. So for me, these two would complement each other pretty well, and for me, that's why these two deserve to be in the combined 11. Up front, I've gone with a right wing option of Mohamed Salah and a left wing option of Gabriel Martinelli. Now, Bukayo Saka is cruelly left out of this combined 11, and the reason is because whenever I do these combined 11s or whenever I see them, I hate when people shoehorn players into specific positions. Now, maybe with a winger, it's somewhat a bit forgivable, I guess, to obviously put a winger on the opposite side. I could have easily put Bukayo Saka on the left-hand side. That could have easily been done. But obviously, predominantly, his best position and where he's made more of a name for himself has been obviously on that right-hand side. And of course, you can't play two people on that right-hand side. So between Saka and Salah, I've obviously gone with the Egyptian king of Mohamed Salah. That, for me, is... Obviously, I think there is a conversation to be had, but I don't really necessarily think it is a proper one as of right now. The left-hand side was a little bit more difficult. Whilst I don't think Gabriel Martinelli has been as good this season as what he was last season, I still think he's been pretty strong. I know that he's had a couple of injury concerns throughout this season that haven't quite helped his season, and it's been a bit stop-start in that aspect, but I still think he has been solid enough. I still think he's been consistent enough. And I still think he has been brilliant. And I think that he's actually been slightly better than a somewhat unfortunate Luis Diaz. And that's why I've gone with Martinelli. Mohamed Salah, look, his record speaks for itself. This guy was meant to be a one-season wonder. He's turned into an absolute wonderful 7-season wonder. This guy continues to go from strength to strength. Just when you think he's done, down and out, dead and buried, this guy comes back time and time again. Bigger, better, stronger, and more prolific than ever. This guy is insane, and this guy has got the most goal contributions, goals and assists this season so far in the Premier League. That is why Salah gets the nod over Saka, and that's why Martinelli also gets the nod to play alongside him. And finally, for striker, look, I think the irony about this is these two teams, for as good as what they are, don't really have a clinical enough striker up front. So I think you can make a pretty good case for any one of the strikers that Liverpool have. Personally, for me, if Diogo Jota was fit, and if I was looking at obviously goals, I'd probably say Jota. And as much as I don't really rate Jota's overall all-round performances, I probably would go Jota, but because this is a combined 11 of players that are fit and firing, I'm going to have to go with Darwin Núñez. I can make a case for Gabriel Jesus. I can make a case for even Eddie Nketiah of all players. Eddie Nketiah, Jesus Christ. But for me, I still back Darwin Núñez in this instance. And the reason is that because I think this season, what you've seen from Darwin Núñez is his overall gameplay evolve, his overall gameplay improve, his hold-up play, his positional play, his intelligent runs to either draw opposition out, to create space for others, his unselfish runs, whatever the case may be, his build-up play. What we have seen from Darwin Núñez is a vast improvement in all of those aspects, except the one that truly matters most. This guy is still missing clear-cut, gilt-edged chances from time to time. The difficult ones, the more difficult chances, he's got no issue in finding the back of the net, or at the very least, making the goalkeeper work. But he is still missing the gilt-edged chances. And the only reason why he gets in my opinion, over the likes of Nketiah and Jesus, is because in this kind of team, with the way that he plays, I'd rather have someone who's going to absolutely work their socks off for 90 minutes than someone who is going to be very inconsistent in terms of that particular aspect. If I can't get a clinical goal scorer out of any one of those strikers that I've mentioned already, I'd rather want someone to have an extreme amount of work rate and obviously a good relationship with a certain Mohamed Salah. That can obviously see Salah maybe get the majority of the goals over him in particular in this kind of setup. I know this one could cause a lot of debate and could cause a lot of discussion, so do get involved in the comments if you think I'm wrong and the reasons why. And I have said it obviously in the last match reaction video that I did in regards to Liverpool drawing 0-0 with Manchester United, that my patience is slightly wearing thin with Darwin Núñez. I do back him, I do see the improvements. I'm not completely blindsided by that completely. I do see the improvements in Darwin Núñez, but Jesus Christ, this guy has to start scoring more goals and has to start being more consistent in front of goal if he is to completely turn around the obviously thoughts and opinions of majority of not just Liverpool fans but football fans in general, because although that they see the good in him and although they see what he's doing and what he's trying, overall it's not going to work out if he continues to keep some easy enough chances. Núñez gets the nod for me, but only just to round off this Liverpool versus Arsenal combined 11. And there you have it, that is our combined Liverpool versus Arsenal starting 11 ahead of obviously tonight's huge clash between the Premier League's current top two. But what are your thoughts? What are your comments? What are your opinions? What are your predictions? What is your starting 11? What is your combined 11 for these two teams? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings on the starting 11 that I've produced, the starting 11 that you would produce, and maybe even predictions on how you think tonight's game will be going. All of those things I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below in the comment section, so do get involved down there. Would love to hear from you all in this. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things always would be greatly appreciated, and as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks everyone for watching, and have a Merry Christmas of course above all. And obviously take care, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you